All right, you guys are in for a treat tonight. We're doing my famous duck dumplings with a side of no mac and cheese. First, you want to do your dough before you roll it out because you want to let it sit for a bit. Very simple. 2 cups of all-purpose flour, a pinch of salt, 3/4 cup of warm water, like so. 3 tablespoons of olive oil. That's the secret ingredient. We're gonna mix this all up into a ball. We're gonna knead it, and we're going to go on to the next step, which is making our filling. All right, so your dough, once you've mixed up all those ingredients, should be a ball that's a little bit like this. You should be able to manipulate it without it sticking or touching in your hand, all right? So you put it like that. Once your dough is done, you just want to wet a cloth, bring it out, and cover your dough. You don't want it to dry out, and it's going to take you some time. It gives you time for it to raise a little bit, and it also gives you time to finish your ingredients. Next up, we have the ducks. So these are organic, gluten-free, free-range ducks. The reason I know that is because I shot them out of the sky a couple of days ago. So we're gonna take these 3 ducks, we're gonna go ahead and put them in about this much water. Oh, check it out. My pot is dancing. Yeah. All right. So we've got our water boiling here. We're just gonna stick the ducks in about that much water. So you see I've got about 3/4 of the way. The water will fill up in the cavity of the duck, so it will sit at the bottom of that water. You don't have to worry about floating up top. And you just go ahead and you drop your 3 ducks in there. Once it starts boiling aggressively, I'm gonna turn it down. I'm gonna open the lid a bit. I'll turn it down to a medium heat. And we're gonna cook those for about 15, 18 minutes, but we're gonna keep checking on them. And once they're ready to go, we're gonna start making our filling, and we're gonna start rolling out as well our dumplings. So there's your ducks all cooked up. We took them out. We're gonna put them in cold water to stop the cooking process. And we're gonna save, look at that broth. We're gonna reboil the carcasses in this later. Sorry, I had my fan on. We're gonna recook these carcasses once we've stripped the meat in here later. Look at the fat on that broth. That'll be a separate recipe for duck soup. All right, we've got our ducks in cold water here after the cook. They're seizing, and it's gonna stop the cooking process. We're gonna work on our stuffing, our garnish that we're gonna add with the duck. Super simple. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS. Words to live by. White onion, cabbage, Italian seasoning. That's it. So we're gonna do about, with a shredder, cheese grater, we're gonna do about half a cabbage. Pull off the first few leaves, and go ahead and just shred up half a small cabbage, because these come in different sizes, right? So half a small, about half of that white onion, and we're gonna go ahead and get that all ready to go. Once that's in there, we're gonna go ahead and add the duck. Here's your onion, cauliflower, not cauliflower, that's not true. Your onion and your cabbage, and you're just literally gonna sprinkle that much Italian seasoning in it. And you're gonna give it a quick mix, like this. And then we're gonna toss in our duck, and we're gonna start making these dumplings. We're gonna start rolling them out. So we see we've done 2 of the ducks here. Most of the breast meat. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna boil these later and use the legs for a duck soup. That's for another recipe. So I'll just give you an idea. You pull the skin off. Once you boil it, you see the skin is quite elastic. We're gonna reuse that skin in with our soup recipe, and we're gonna boil that. So we're not tossing the skin away. We're just pulling it away from the breast meat. And once you've got that, you can do a small incision like that to get some of that breast meat off. And you see we've already got a little pile going here. So we're gonna add this here. Get your finger, just slide it along the bone, pull it off. Same thing you would do with a turkey or a chicken, it's just a smaller version. Slide your finger along the bone and pull away all that breast meat and even the front, just like that. Make a nice little pile. And we're gonna add that shortly to our main dish. All you gotta do is give it a good chop. You wanna get it fairly fine. You don't want too big chunks because you are gonna mix it in with your garnish inside the dumpling. So just give it a quick chop it up. Once you got it all chopped up, we're gonna go ahead and toss it in with our onion, cabbage, and Italian seasoning. So that's about the consistency you want for your duck. So just a nice crumble. And go ahead and add that in with the cabbage, the onions, and the Italian seasoning, like this. And simply keep folding the duck in with the cabbage and the onion until you have a nice blend. Just like that. So that's 3 ducks, half a cabbage, half a white onion, Italian seasoning. Just as simple as that. So we're gonna start rolling out our shells, make up the dumplings, and we're gonna deep fry these bad boys. We're about ready to pump out some dumplings. First things first, so we had the dough. Grab balls about the size of a large marble. Remember when we used to play marbles? It was a long time ago. So about 1 inch. And we've got our dough, we got our filling, the duck that we mixed up earlier. It's very important that you take a shot of Cazadoras before you roll the dough. So go ahead, roll out a disc. Try to get it as thin as you can. You notice how I don't have a mess of flour everywhere? That was the secret ingredient I told you guys about earlier, is to add olive oil to your dough so it's non-stick dough and you don't have to mess with tons of flour, constantly flouring. So give it a good roll. It will stick a bit, but you pull it off. Try to roll it as thin as you can. We're not making these for perfection in shape. We're making them so that they're thin enough that they will crisp up nicely once we have the filling in there. So about that, an oval, if you will. There you go, nothing perfect about it. I take a spoonful of the filling. So I just picked it up, I pack it a bit onto the spoon, get it right into center mass, just right there. And then you can just grab both sides, top and bottom, and you can go ahead and start pinching that, just like that. Bring it up, pinch it, pinch it, pinch it, pinch it, pinch it, pinch it till you get to the end. Pinch it, pinch it, pinch it, pinch it, pinch it, pinch it, and there's one. One dumpling ready to get fried up. So we're gonna do them all, and we're gonna toss those in the oil real soon. All right, check it out. Check out those dumplings. We've got the oil warming up over here. We've got the freshly hand-rolled dumplings over here. Turns out it makes 13 dumplings. Now we're gonna work on our side dish. Super easy, don't worry about it. Cauliflower, it's a no mac and cheese. So we're using the cauliflower as the pasta. And we're gonna add 15% cream. About 1.5 cups, or this whole thing of cream. Just go ahead and pour it in there. No worries. You're good to go. We're gonna do fresh ground pepper, garlic powder, a few tablespoons of cream cheese, and a few splashes of yellow prepared mustard. It's all going into the cream. We're gonna whisk it with a cup of cheese. And as soon as it's done, we're gonna boil the cauliflower until it's tender. And after that, we're going to be ready to rock for our side dish. there you have it. So we cut up the cauliflower. We've got it sitting in this water that's about to boil. You know, just cut it up into chunks. Once it's boiled and soft, you'll be able to cut it up in smaller pieces, about the size of what a pasta would be. So keep that covered and boil it. Once it's a high boil, I would say about 5 to 8 minutes. Here you've got your prepared yellow mustard, 2 tablespoons or so of cream cheese. You've got your garlic powder, you've got your heavy cream, about 15%, and you've got about 1.5 cups of the cheese. So you're gonna go ahead and put that to warm and melt. So you're gonna put it about medium to high heat. Just enough heat for it to melt that cheese. Once the cheese starts to melt, we're gonna go ahead and blend that, and we're gonna drizzle that over our cauliflower. It's gonna be delicious. All right, so we've got our cauliflower. As soon as it's soft to touch, we're just gonna go ahead and pour it into a lasagna jar. We've got our sauce that's nice and melted, so we're gonna spread that out a little bit. Here's our cheese sauce. So you had the cheese, the mustard, the garlic sauce, the cream cheese, the pepper, and we're just gonna spread that all over the cauliflower. We're gonna let that soak in. We're gonna give it a quick stir, and we're going to let it cool. As soon as it cools, we're going to bake it with cheese on top. Alrighty. So this is nice and cool now. We're going to go ahead and sprinkle the remaining cheese all over the top, just like that. Remember, this is a keto mac and cheese, so don't you dare feel guilty about eating a whole bunch of this. We're gonna top it with a little bit of Italian seasoning and a little bit of red pepper, dried red pepper, like so. We're gonna give it a quick broil, and we're about ready to rock on our dumpling. So here is some organic olive oil. Yeah, we're not using no canola oil in this, or vegetable oil. We're using the legit, real thing. Full disclosure, I've been drinking tequila the whole time I've been cooking. And although for you it's only been 5 minutes, it's been like hours for me. So, I feel good, da-na-na-na-na-na, like I knew that I would now. So, drop your dumplings in there. That's what you should see, a sizzle and some bubbles when you're putting your dumplings in. Whoop, this one opened up a bit. So, you should be able to fit 3 or 4 at a time. You don't want that to be too crowded. So we're gonna let that go. As soon as it gets a bit golden brown, we're gonna flip them. And as soon as the other side is golden brown, we're gonna put them aside and continue with these. All right. We're almost ready to flip these. Your heat was on medium-low when your oil got hot. As you introduce these into the pan, the oil, you'll notice that oil cools a bit. So you want to crank it up to a full medium heat on your first batch. And if you have a look at that. A little bit of golden action going on. Yeah, that's fair. We're going to give them a bit of a turn. And we're going to flip them just like that. So you see that goldenness and the crispiness, so give them a flip. And we're gonna let the other side crisp up as well. These are looking golden brown, folks. Looks like we're ready for dinner. Look at those ginormous duck dumplings frying up in some healthy olive oil. We are going to have ourselves quite the dinner. All right. We're going to keep those warm in the oven while we do our side dish. All right, check this out. We've got our fried dumplings. We've got our side dish, keto mac and cheese. What's up? So, here's what's up. We're gonna do some dish preparation. We've got 2 of the fried dumplings. We're gonna add some no mac and cheese all up in here. We're gonna add some no mac and cheese all up in here. Suggested serving, sour cream across your dumpling as such. Sour cream, just be generous, folks. Remember, we use olive oil to fry these bad boys up. And you give a splash of soy sauce on top of the sour cream and dumpling, sour cream and dumpling. And there you have it. This is the duck dumpling. No mac and cheese, served with a organic Pinot Noir. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we're gonna catch you on the next one.